Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal. My name's Jamie Williams. Joining me in the studio as usual is my co-host Jonathan Sullivan.
Hello, Jamie.
And we've also got our very special guests all the way from Liverpool, and that's Haunted Scouse, and we're talking to Chris Cummings and Adam Billing. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, cheers, Jamie. Thanks for inviting us in.
You nearly forgot my name then, didn't you, already?
No, well, to be honest, I was going to spin round.
That's
I thought,
Jamie's job.
Let Jonathan get a word then straight on the start there.
No, don't listen. Before we start talking to you, don't let him get a word in once. I have him in the studio every single week, and he does me head in. But that's why we got using.
I mean, can I just say I have come all the way from the Wirral, so I'm
No.
going to throw that in there as well.
No, we don't want that. We don't want anyone to know
On the
that.
boat, then. On the boat.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good start to the show, isn't it? But Chris, Adam, it is brilliant to have you in the studio, and Haunted Scouse here in the Mill Street Barracks. Fantastic. Now, I've been watching a couple of your shows, and that's why we got you in, because we think they are brilliant. They're on YouTube. They're superb. Haunted Scouse. So I'm going to go to you, Chris. How did it come about with Haunted Scouse itself?
We started off with another group, which, as we discussed before, it's a name you're familiar with, Ghost Quest,
Yeah.
but a different one. And we both joined around about the same time, and it was, I mean, with everything that's gone on, I forget what year it is, let alone what month. Early 2020.
It seems about 20 years ago to me, to be honest,
Yeah.
mate.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, and we both joined Ghost Quest. I'm social media manager for that channel and those pages. And the first episode we could do, pandemic wise, was we did one called My First Ghost Story, which was about the first time I saw a ghost. And we were filming that in an old railway line called the Raleigh in Gattaca in Liverpool. And literally that was the first night me and Adam met.
Yeah.
Me and Ben Redhead, who does Ghost Quest TV, we'd already filmed at the Albert Dock to do the intro to it, and then Ben filmed me basically telling the story as I'm walking down the Raleigh in daylight, and then it goes to the nighttime investigation. So the first time we met, literally this stranger turns up at the front door of mine, literally makes a sound like that. That was right on cue.
He's got one of them big houses, can you tell? He's the one who makes the money here with these big
Can I just say for the listeners, there is a group in here at Mill Street tonight, and they're doing a ghost hunt. So if you hear the bell or you hear voices in the background, it's not EVP. It's the group what are in tonight doing a ghost hunt. So that was perfect. That wasn't it?
It's not the servants messing around, no. But yeah, literally that was the first time. It's like my wife Suzanne said, "So where you off to tonight?" I said, "I'm just meeting this strange bloke, and we're going to go walking around the woods in the dark with a couple of cameras." So that was that was our first episode, the only one we've been on to be on for Ghost Quest, because everything kind of shut down on it with the pandemic. But yeah, we just hit it off straight away, and then we had the nickname Haunted Scouse because we called that lot the Yorkshire Mafia, because they're all from North Yorkshire. Yeah. So it's they called us Haunted Scouse, and we kind of just went with it, and it kind of just developed from there. We both got our own night vision cameras, and started to use a little bit of kit, and then what was supposed to just be a little filler has turned into a full-time channel for us both.
Yeah.
Wow, and I mean, perfect name, easy to remember, and it's a Scouser as well. So should we talk to the fella from across the water?
Go on.
Scouser, haven't you?
Yeah, half as plastic Scouser we call him. Yeah,
Englishman and a Welshman.
I feel like I'm in for it tonight. I don't know what I'm coming to here.
Well, we did warn you before we started recording that we give each other stick. Well, only them from across the water.
So I didn't sign anything here,
Yeah, there's a reason for that. The reason why we don't sign people on. So Adam, how did you get into this paranormal stuff? I mean, what made you go knock on someone's door?
I mean, it's strange. Just I'm sure we've all probably got these TV shows and YouTube channels and things that we've watched and we've grew up with, and I just sat there and was just like hooked, fascinated by it, and then you kind of you turn it off and you think, is that real? Are they having me on? You understand obviously now with the entertainment side of it, and you think, I think the only way to kind of know for sure is to to put yourself out there and actually go on some of these. So I went on a few little ghost hunts with some different companies, and you know, there's like 30, 40 people there, and you kind of don't get the experience. And then, you know, obviously saw an advert for Ghost Quest come up, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go for it and just see. Got in with the team, and then very, very last minute, for Chris's episode, there was a very late substitution because it should have been someone else on it, and I jumped on and, you know, met Chris, and I think it just clicked, and the rest is history, as you say, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, isn't it?
I think that's the one thing that people have said, you know, it's even if, you know, we could go out and film for 3 hours, and we could put 3 hours up of content, and I think even if we don't get anything, you kind of see that there is a bit of, you know, chemistry there, a bit of banter. So if, you know, you don't watch it for the paranormal side of it, you kind of watch it just for us, you know, two fellas just taking the absolute mick out of each other. But
That's it.
yeah,
Well, that's what it's about. And I mean, you know yourselves, when you go on the ghost hunts, nothing, you know, things happen, but it doesn't happen just like that. And so you've got to have that bit of banter, and you've got to have that entertainment in between, and that's when things do happen, when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, even that first night, all of a sudden, we're in these woods at the back of an estate that I grew up on, and this little bit of woodland that I didn't even know was there. And I mean, I lived there from the age of 8, and I'm like, oh, this is great. This is going to look brilliant. And we went Facebook Live on the Ghost Quest pages, and even from then, the banter kicked in. You know, he's in the background taking the mickey out of me, and
that's because you got us lost. You know, we'll throw that in there now. That's why it was like I grew up here. Where are we? And then we were just going in circles.
Yeah, it was more a play. If there's anyone watching on the Lee Park estate, can you come and if we shout help, can you come and throw us a line or something?
Is it Lee Park?
That's where I grew up, Lee Park. Yeah,
because you know where Lee Park is. You've got that road. It's the most bumpiest road on the planet, I think.
Yes,
and it goes round in a sharp bend.
Yeah.
Is that at the park there?
Yeah, so that's called I think it's called King's Drive, that road. So that's kind of when you go past there, and as you head up, just as it turns, if you carry on, there's like a dirt track.
That's right, yeah.
That's where we were when we were filming.
Oh, right.
And if you carry on through there, that's where you go under the railway to what was called the Nuke, which was it was an old farm, the Nuke Farm.
Right.
So that's where we think the hauntings came from. So that whole episode is about the ghost of a little girl that I saw when I was 13. So we kind of went back. That's what we were looking for. But I mean, there was plenty of activity, and it's a place that, you know, we keep getting asked. Now we're doing Haunted Scouse. Are you going to go back and do it?
Yeah.
So we have it's one of those that we got penciled in for the winter, because I think it's a good crisp winter's night one.
Wow.
We'll go back, potentially try and do a live, but then you never know. You do a live and you can get interrupted by people, and I mean, even on the night, we felt sorry for Ben on the edit, because if it was our first time doing an investigation, and if we said it was dark once, we must have said it every 30 seconds. It's dark, isn't it? My God, it's dark. Bloody hell, it's dark. Is it dark where you are? It is over here, yeah.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, when we listen back to these shows, sometimes you go, do you know how many times you said, you know? But it's a natural thing to do, isn't it? But yeah, next time you go, they might have tarmacked that road, because I think the last time they actually done anything, that there was a king on the throne. Like, cause
quite possibly,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, there was probably still 5 blocks of flats at the top of it, and my dad living on the top floor, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I go down that road every day.
Yeah, so, that's it. I mean, literally, it's a bit of a hot spot as well.
Yeah.
You know, once we'd done that episode, and it got into the Liverpool Echo, and I think it's we were looking at it the other night, me and the missus, and it's on 16,000 views now. Wow. Which is absolutely amazing. I mean, it'd be great if that transferred over to Haunted Scouse now as well. You know, our best one's on 2,500, which is amazing for us. It's brilliant. Fantastic for us. But yeah, we need to go back there, because and try and look more professional when we go back. 'Cause I think we did ourselves proud. We'd never used night vision cameras before, and we'd never used an PSB7 S-Box before. And
we'd never met in person before.
We'd never met in person, so we had all this kit and equipment, digital recorders that literally I just had dropped off from Ben. And okay, yeah, right, I'll leave you to it. I'll come back and pick it all up. And it's yeah, even Ben turned around and said, "No, you did a great job." And, you know, and he's been really supportive, Ben, as well, with all the Haunted Scouse stuff. You know, he watches it and comments and that. But he said, yeah, we were the first ones who figured out how to switch on the SB7 and plug the speaker in and get it working. So it was good, brilliant experience, and we walked away from it and just went. As soon as you've done one, it's like, yeah,
that's the bug,
addictive.
Yeah,
it's addictive.
I think from there, we had the Echo and then the radio, and it was like, oh wow,
That's right, yeah. Howard Hughes on there.
Howard Hughes. We were on
Howard Hughes' radio show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is big.
His mum saw us in the Echo apparently, and because I didn't know he's from Liverpool.
And you've made it bigger now as well, us.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. You see, we've got to try and top this. So yeah.
Me,
What was that, Jonathan?
It's only downhill for me.
Hey, we are top class.
I'm only kidding.
Hey, listen, we're taking you with us if we're going down. Don't worry about that.
No. We're taking you with us. This is the first one, and you'll be like that. Why did we ever go back? Why did we go? So you've been quite a few places. I was looking at your YouTube channel, which is Haunted Scouse.
That's
so
the
get
one.
on there. Brilliant. I love the pictures and everything you've done on it, because it's quite. When you get on there, I've been on it a few times. I'm going, which one shall I watch? Because they all look interesting.
Yeah, that's what we put a lot of effort into bandying around ideas for the thumbnails, because obviously it's very important for
that's
the channel.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's we started off and it was just like take a still out of the episode, because we were that giddy with having cameras. What we keep forgetting to do, and we did it even at the fan event we did at Accrington Courts and Police Station, we forgot to take photographs. So then it's like, what do we use for the thumbnail? I'll just have to go through the episode and grab something. Yeah. And now we've kind of devised this. We've got this rig we use all the time, so we now know just press the timer on the phone and run in front of it and just pose, and do something. So we've got used to it now, where we're in a location and we go, that's the thumbnail there. Yeah. Visually, we just see it, and then I just put a code. We try and keep it as simple as possible. Some brilliant thumbnails, people pictures in pictures and stuff like that, and sometimes we've used like a faded image and it gives like a ghostly effect on it, but yeah, that's the thing. We've worked hard on making sure the thumbnails, we've replaced one or two of them over time as well, just to freshen it up. But yeah, for our channel, that's what you want. The thumbnail's got to stand out. It's got to be something people want to click on.
It's funny, isn't it, Jonathan? Because we do the posters. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I think it takes longer to do the posters on your thumbnails than what it does to do the show. Because you think, what have we? We've got to get it. It's got to be eye catching for us to.
Well, we've got to agree as well, and that's the thing with us. I mean, he's an Evertonian, I'm a Liverpudlian, so straight from the off.
Well, let's just stop there a minute, right? Let's just stop there a minute. He's from the Widdle and he's an Evertonian.
Yeah.
And he's a season ticket holder as well.
Chris, why didn't you come on your own?
I don't know.
Seriously?
I know, exactly.
Don't ever bring him back.
Well, the other thing
if
is...
If I come back, I might be coming back as an EVP here.
It'd be more than I've ever had. Anyway.
I like that one.
Oh, well, we've just lost 2 listeners. Yeah, fancy telling us that right in the middle of a conversation. I know. You should have waited for the end of that. I could have edited them out then.
Well, we often joke if we ever get on bargain hunt, what colour are we going to go? Is it we're knackered there, red or blue? I can just imagine, and you can come on, but you've got to go the red team. No, not doing it.
Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? He's wearing red anyway, look.
Well, we've got a little bit of red in there.
Well, this was, when Chris obviously put all the gear together, we kind of just threw it on that it was going to be red, and it was just signed off without any kind of mutual agreement there. So I think, at least that's probably the only red thing I actually own, is this. So.
Well, if you do watch the intro to our episodes very closely, the original intro and the new one that we've got at the moment with us walking down the railway tracks, Adam got onto it straight away that I'd made our names. His name's in blue, my name's in red. So it's a little subliminal Easter egg there to give our football affiliation. So I did give him, if you pardon the expression, a little bit of blue.
No, it's a good, because it's funny, isn't it? Because we all, there's the reds and the blues and that, and you've got to try and be equal with it sometimes, because it does get quite sensitive out there.
Yeah, all my missus and their family are all blues, so... we say, it's like caring the community, marrying into letting them marry into a successful,
Chris, it's getting worse by the minute.
Yeah, I mean, most of my friends are Norwegians. I mean, Liverpoolians. So.
This has gone from the paranormal to football.
But I was just going to say, then this is us. This is what it's all about, and this is why people buy into Haunted Scouse. It's we go out to try and document the paranormal and the history behind the paranormal, behind the history of a place. Yeah. But it's the banter that goes on, off camera. We can be 500 yards away from each other, and he's ripping me mercilessly. I'm making comments about him, and then we've got walkie-talkies as well, so we can talk to each other when we're not even near each other, and it doesn't stop then.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys know that you've got to, have a bit of a laugh and have fun. Yeah. Obviously, doing what you're doing. This is kind of just like a hobby for us, and we document it, but we've got day jobs, and we still. This is like kind of our breakaway. We come out, and it's a bit of a strange hobby, grant that, but. The people that we meet, and it's obviously like yourselves, is just fantastic. But I think first and foremost, you've got to enjoy what you do. Otherwise,
definitely.
We have a good laugh. I mean, you nearly gave me an ass a few weeks back when I walked up the stairs. Yeah. And I think I come a bit late or something. And
I lay on the thing waiting.
He was just lying on the couch just by the stairs there. So when I came up and he jumped out at me.
We won't repeat what he said.
Yeah, it's not repeatable for YouTube or radio or anything.
But that's, I mean, if you don't have that, it becomes like stale, doesn't it? You get to the point where you call you call out and everything else, but if nothing's happening, you've got to make you've got to have some kind of fallback, and the banter's great. And I don't know whether you've noticed, you've been with a few paranormal groups, I assume. There's always that bit of banter with everybody.
Well, we've only really done, I mean, Ghost Quest never really, the pandemic hit just as we got this new crew together for Ghost Quest, and cause basically Ben being the head of it, everything got so busy with his production company and also with him working for ITV. Once that got back going, it's still kind of, every time something tries to get put together, we have to put it back and everything. But the only times we've got there, it's a good laugh. And I mean, until I did Ghost Quest and the Haunted Scouse, I've never been on a paranormal event ever.
Oh,
it was something that didn't appeal to me.
You did, Adam.
Yeah, I've been on a few. I mean, it was more. If you want to say that the big ones, I've been to. I went to the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham. And
brilliant there, isn't it?
That was great.
So that was with like the big event companies.
Yeah, and obviously you pay your money for that, but then that's what I got for. I've paid, and there might be a few people there that might maybe have a drink or not take it too seriously, and you think, well, we've all come from an experience here, and you think, right, let's be quiet now and let's listen. And there's a bit giddy and things, so I was like, well. How can I now take this to my level, to experience this for myself? And then that's how I stumbled across, unfortunately, Chris. And I mean, sorry, I might have to edit that bit. But no, as I said, there was a few local ones I've been on the Widdle as well. But just starting this last year, it just seemed to, every month where we think, right, we've kind of done our film, and now we need to just get our heads down and like get back to our jobs, and something will come up, someone would ring, someone would text, and it just grew and just got bigger, didn't it? And just kind of, every time we thought, right, we close that chapter on this location, another kind of avenue opened, and it's just been like a roller coaster, really, hasn't it?
It's strange how it works. I mean, because I've been doing paranormal investigations with my group Ghost Quest, funnily enough. We've been doing it since 2010, isn't it now, Jonathan? So, we've been together since 2010. What's his name, the other Ghost Quest?
Ben.
Watch out, Ben, we're coming for you. No, we're not. It's nice to know that he's out there doing the same as us.
They actually started, I think, the Ghost Quest channel's been going for about 8 years now. I think it was 2013 there.
Yeah, we're still ahead of you, Ben.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of them.
He was in his late teens then, I think, Ben, but because he had that interest in videographer, being a videographer, and he's got his own company, Ben Now Video Productions, so he's always had the eye for a shot and everything. Yeah. And I think, if anything, he's his own worst enemy because he's so good at what he does. Stuff that we'll go, that'll do, on to the next thing. Ben's a perfectionist, and as I said, he does another series with Simon Entwistle called Tales from the Graves.
He's a lovely man, Simon Entwistle.
Yeah, that's it, and that really showcases Ben's ability as a producer and a cameraman and a director with Simon as well. That's a fantastic series for anyone who likes. I mean, even perfect for people just putting the headphones on and listening. You know, Simon telling you the stories is just fantastic. But yeah, it is. It's as we said, it's 50% banter, 50% paranormal with us two.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it's got to be. That's us.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll tell you what, though, one day we'll have to get used to Ben in here, because that'd be good. Ghost Quest meets Ghost Quest.
Hey,
that'd be great.
That's like parallel universes there, isn't it?
Yeah. But that'd be nice. I'd like to meet him, actually, you know.
Lock you in a room and the winner takes the name or something.
Yeah, but Ben's is Ghost Space Quest, isn't it? Whereas ours is Ghost Quest. And do you know what? Good luck to him.
Yeah, that's it. He's put the effort into it, and as I say, unfortunately, just as we got a crack team together, and things, we got that big hit with the Ralla one, because it went in the Liverpool Echo, and then we ended up on the Howard Hughes show, and then it flew. I remember sitting there on that night watching it go to 10,000-12,000 views, and going downstairs and going upstairs, because I've got a man cave downstairs in the house to escape the daughters at times.
I've got one of them. It's called the toilet.
And we just watched the views ramp up. So I mean, that was the thing for us. It kind of got us carried away. First time we got in the Echo, we thought, here we go, right, let's watch this ramp up, and then get up the next morning and you've got 500 views. But then we went, do you know what, the first video got 100 at this point, so there's 400 extra views.
That's it, isn't it?
We've never been greedy about it, Jonathan. That's the thing. We've always said, if an Echo article, and we've been in the Liverpool Echo a few times now, but we've said if we get 10 subscribers off it and 100 views, brilliant. So when we get potentially 100 average subscribers from each Echo article, we're made up with that, because we're not greedy. For us, it's like, wow, okay.
We're not. It's still a hobby, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're not greedy, are we, Jonathan? But we've never been in the Liverpool Echo yet, have we? So we haven't been in the Liverpool Echo yet, have we, Jonathan? So if the Liverpool Echo are listening, we've got haunted Scouse in the house. They're our friends.
Hey, we'll get you over to our neck of the woods and get you on an episode with us, and then so if the Liverpool Echo are listening, there's one for you.
Or the St. Helens Star, or anybody else.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah,
you get us in it, we'll name your names.
So I want to ask: is every single location in Liverpool?
No.
Or do you go further out?
We set out to do Liverpool and the Widdle, and for quite a while our intro to the show was actually telling lies, because it was saying we're investigating the most haunted locations in Liverpool and the Widdle. We filmed all the Liverpool ones, and which was the idea: Liverpool series, Widdle series. And then all of a sudden we hit on the idea: pubs are closed, let's try and get in some of the pubs. And to our surprise, quite a few pubs came forward and said, yeah, sounds like a brilliant idea, come in. And these 6 or 7 pub episodes suddenly started instead. And we still hadn't been over to the Widdle to film anything. So this intro on the show, the whole series was lying to everyone, because we hadn't been anywhere near the Widdle. The closest we got to it was him driving through from there to come and meet me in Liverpool. So it's great that we've now got the Widdle series up and running. We've had quite a few brilliant episodes there. We've got loads more ideas over there as well. Yeah,
I think it was a really good idea that we thought that how can we kind of like create this channel, and we thought, well, why don't we capitalise on Chris being over this side and me being over on the Widdle. Chris will hit 4, 5, 6 locations that I won't know anything about. He'll invite me over, and then it's kind of his sort of, he's presenting it, and then I'm kind of along for the ride, and then we'd stop, and then we'd do the Widdle ones, and then as Chris said, you know, it was like, right, let's get over and do the Widdle now. It's the height of winter, you know, we're going to be out in the cold, and then a pub contacts us, and we're like, oh, we'll just go.
It's warmer there.
We'll go inside. Yeah, there's beer there.
Definitely.
As well, but, so then we film one and think, oh, we're definitely going to have to go outside next week, aren't we? And then all of a sudden the phone rings again. It's like, well, this is great, you know. And then it got us right the way through, didn't it? Up until around about the February, and then we thought, right, we're going to have to actually start filming now. And it's just, again, when we started. We started with Hadlow, didn't we? Over in Williston, to the train station over there, which is absolutely brilliant. And then we had Staunton Woods, which, I mean, the story I want you to tell, you know what I want you to tell, is about Chris and one of his friends who we met in the woods in Staunton.
Is this paranormal, like?
It was no. I mean, ironically, to get back to the football banter, it did involve a dog called Blue, so it was almost like, fate kind of came along, and it was literally me. We split up, and this was the first night. Adam had bought these walkie-talkies, and it was like great new toys, and and it was the first episode I'd used picture in picture, so it was a new editing technique for me as well. Worked really well. He gets on the walkie-talkie, and it literally scares the proverbial out of you, because everything's nice and quiet, and then the walkie-talkie just goes, Chris.
Yeah. You see it on all the big shows, don't you? You know, you've got to give it a go yourself.
Yeah, we've done that, haven't we?
But yeah, so I'm walking. He knows Staunton Woods. I've never been before, and it's February. It's pitch black by the time we turn up. Turn left down here. This pitch black country lane, and I'm thinking, right, okay, pulls the car up. Yeah, we'll go for a little walk first. So we goes for a walk with one camera, a couple of people walking the dogs. All the dogs have got flashy collars on. It looks all nice.
Orbs.
So thought this is thought this is all nice and peaceful. So then we think, right, everyone's gone now, so we does our intro to the camera. Right, I'm going this way, you're going that way. Right, okay, so we're walking along, and I sees this flashy collar in front of me, so I thought, right, there's a straggler here. I don't want to scare them, because I'm walking through with the camera, and haunted Scouse on emblazoned all over me. I've got a haunted Scouse beanie hat as well, so it literally looked like Joe Pesci off Home Alone has gone for a walk in the middle of winter. So I thought, I'll do them a favour, and I'm gabbing away to the camera, dog walker up ahead, guys, and I'll just duck off up here, so we don't want to scare them. So it goes off, and I'm traipsing through, and I'm trying to give a little bit of audio to it, so it's not too boring. It's a bit like Blair Witch through here, and oh look, there's some molehills as well, and then I just heard behind me, budadum, 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 and then I just heard, row, 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 row. It's the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. Followed by a shout from behind, Blue, Blue, oh, come on, Blue, come on, boy, come on, boy. It's, in all the things we've done with Haunted Scouse, everyone now knows the noise I make when it's pure fear. And where the noise came from, I don't know, but it was something along the lines of, oh, shit. And
you kept it professional there, didn't you? While the dog was pinning you up against the tree.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I thought it was a Great Dane, and it was only afterwards. Me next door neighbour thinks it was something called an American something or other. But it was its head was about a foot wide, this little Hal fella who comes hobbling up the thing. Sorry about that, mate. And then he stands between me and the dog. While the only tree there is about 6 inches wide, which the dog's gonna chew through any minute now. I'm thinking any minute now, me walkie-talkie's gonna go, because surely to Christ he can hear this. He's only about 500 yards away. Only when I watch the edit, he's like la 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 la. He's giving his intro by the Staunton Woods sign, but you can hear the dog barking on his camera. So I'm putting little bits like teasing what's to come. Dog barking in distance. That's me getting attacked by this dog. So I managed to catch it on the camera. Edited a lot out of it. So then I don't know why I thought I'd get any sympathy off him. So I get on the walkie-talkie. Chris to Adam. Yeah, go on, mate. I don't know where you heard that then, but I've just been mauled by Cujo, and he's like, "No, I didn't hear anything, mate." So then he's like, takes his finger off the walkie-talkie, and I'm watching his camera, and he's howling, laughing, getting himself together and going, "You all right, like?"
Somebody was watching you.
Because when I edit, I'm watching him. The insincerity behind that, "You're all right, like," and then let's go with the button. Absolutely loses it, laughing again, composes himself again.
And then I did tell you that there's big Great Danes that walk in, mate. So you better watch out.
But no, I mean, it was at that point in time. I love animals. But the dog we've got a little Yorkshire Terrier, so I had no chance with this thing. But yeah, it was one of them moments where thankfully it could have gone another way, because it did jump up and had a little go at my shoulder, and even when I told him that, I got no sympathy when I was watching it back.
I genuinely think if you watch it, that dog looks more scared of you than you are of the dog.
Do you know what would have been funny if you'd have turned around to Chris and said, "Did you get any EVP while you were there?"
There was a bit of pee, I think. But, yeah. Not about the EV.
But no, that was. Again, it was perfect for our channel, but it was excruciating for Adam, because he had to wait 6 months for the episode to go on the channel. So he knows we're sitting on this literal gold. Yeah. And he's got TikTok ready to go and everything on it, because I've sent him the clip. His TikTok saved to his phone and everything since February, March. So it's literally as soon as the episode went out, the credits must have still been going up, and TikTok's on there with him.
I milked it. I've got to say, I milked it.
Sometimes you have to, don't you? Sometimes, like the other week, we were recording a show. And we, as you can see, we got this light on here, but it changes all different colours. While we're doing this, I'll show you. You can change when I turn it the right way around. You can go blue. That's for you.
Hey,
red, green. So we had that on green, and Jonathan was sitting there, headphones on, like you are now. Kaboom! And he had like a white stripe across here. Honest to God, he's spitting image of Shrek. Absolutely spitting image of Shrek. So
I'm saying nothing because I'm sat here next to that green light.
Well,
now.
I actually looked at that then and thought, should I take the picture and put Shrek's brother?
That was my aura.
But we had the green light on, and it was so funny with him, wasn't it?
Got him back yet.
Yeah, he hasn't got his back. We couldn't stop laughing.
That's it. We'll sort something out when you come out filming with us. Yeah, leave that with us.
Yeah, but that it's good, isn't it? When you have the fun parts, and not for the dog, like, but we have had some fun parts. I don't know how you got away though. I'd have ran.
Oh, I mean, literally, I froze to the spot. That was the thing, and then my instinct went into you don't turn your back on a dog, you know. So that was the other instinct that came in, and then it's like, but I'm not dropping my camera. So you're trying to think. There's a part of me going, just keep filming, and it's like, make sure you get the dog in, and then the fella's trying to get the dog, and I'm going, just in case this is the last anyone ever sees of me, get the fella's face on camera as well, so the police know where to go to find me bits.
And this is all on the ghost hunt. This
is all. I mean, literally, I could have left it all in the edit, but I thought at first I put it all in, and then I just thought, keep a bit of dignity for the fella, because to be fair, he was a really nice fella. He just looked like something off Scooby-Doo, because I left that last shot of him walking away, and it looked like he'd just got off a horse and decided to walk it the rest of the way home, because the dog was that big compared to him. But I cut a lot of it out, just him saying, "I'm sorry about that, son." It's like, "Oh, all right, mate," and then just turned the camera on myself, got an effing and jeffing to the camera, going.
I suppose it's just one of them things when you're outside, isn't it? Especially at that time, you think, what's the last thing he's expecting to see?
Yeah.
Is, Chris with his camera and his beanie, and looks like he's been out doing things, and then obviously the same for us, that you wouldn't expect a dog walker to be walking through at that time.
So at least you survived that, Chris. Anyway, that's the main thing. Even though Adam was laughing at you.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scarred too much. Like, I went home and decided we're going to keep the cats, but the dog can go. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. You said unfortunately. Is that why you've got haunted Scouse instead of haunted Scousers? Was there a plan there or something?
I think I've been rumbled here.
So, did you work out the name yourself, Hunt? Oh, you were saying before when you came from.
Yeah, we called them the Yorkshire Mafia, and they nicknamed us Haunted Scouse, and we we went with it.
I think it's one of them, isn't it? That, you know, when I first heard it, it was like, but it's, I don't know if that's not taking it too seriously. And then I thought, actually, it kind of suits perfect because, you know, we have a bit of a laugh, and it's the first thing people go, I like that, you know, and it just seems to stick with people. So it's done the job anyway. So
it was kind of a bit of a play on words as well. Haunted house, haunted Scouse.
Exactly.
So it's a phrase that kind of, you know, the sounds of it, you know, it's familiar anyway. So it worked well,
and it identifies where you're coming from as well.
Well, that's the thing. That was the only doubt we had about it, and then we thought, you know what, sod it, we're going with it anyway. Would people see the word Scouse? And every city in the country is guilty of, whether it's Brummie, Geordie, you know, Cockney, whatever. They're all, you know, Manc. They're all guilty of. There's people that'll go, I'm not watching that because I'm not going to listen to that because, and we just thought, you know what, no, sod it. We're two, you know, hard working lads who we go out, we work all week, we've got our kids, we've got our wives, we've got our lives, and this is a hobby that we put out there. And if people don't want to watch simply because it's got the word Scouse in it, then it's their loss. And we've got a fan base all over the UK now, and you know, we've got fans. We've got Billy in Virginia in America now who watches watches all the episodes and gets in touch and everything, and that's fantastic. It's like, that's what we wanted. You kind of dream of that, and then it happens, and you think, do you know what? It's not a barrier, and if people, the ethics of our group is everybody is welcome. Ability, disability, doesn't matter, gender, race, whatever. You're all welcome in what's being hashtag the Haunted Scouse community. You know, and that's what our followers use. You know, it's that's the hashtag for everything. And that's what we said, everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you do. It's, if you want to come and you share our enthusiasm for the paranormal, as long as you accept that we've got all different characters in our fan base and everyone's welcome, then come along and join it. That's the whole, that's the ethos of Haunted Scouse. And
that's the way it should be. And you know, going back to what you just said with disabilities and that, it's great because, I mean, you know, there's one video which we were talking about before when he took his sister out, and I thought that was fantastic. You know, to embrace that as well is brilliant, because I've not seen, and I'm not disrespecting any other paranormal groups, but it's the first time I've seen that happening. If you know what I mean, I don't know how to word it properly, but you understand what I mean. But from that,
well, my sister actually laughed about it when we first came up with the idea, and she turned around, she said, you're either just using me for the sympathy vote on this, because people are going to turn around and say, you know, look at them taking that poor girl out in the wheelchair. She said, you genuinely want your sister to join you on this? And I turned around and said, look, she's always had that love of the paranormal as well.
And fairies.
Yeah, exactly. And that's our Nikki. I mean, she's got a tattoo of Tinkerbell, and as we mentioned in the episode. So this was perfect, the episode for her, that it was all around, you know, fae spirits. So, and that's the legends of the Allerton Oak in Calderstones Park, is that's what's supposed to be there. So to capture some of the light anomalies that we did on that night as well, it was brilliant to tie in with, like, you know, it was Nikki's energy of, I mean literally we took her there and said, are we okay if we you know, put a lock off camera and we're going to be 100 yards down there while Adam's eating his Mars bar and we're having a chat about, you know.
Look, I mean, you know, that sounds really bad, that, isn't it? I'm down there eating a Mars bar and, you know.
No, it's not. I've seen the episode and that was mean.
It's tastefully done. I mean, the Mars bar was tasty, but I'm just saying it was tastefully, you know.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that was the great thing with, you know, again, when we got to do the Accrington fan event as well, and how Nicky could go to that, and another brilliant fan of ours, Mike, you know, it's you know, who's a wheelchair user as well, and we want to, as we're doing fan events, we know we can't always get a location that is accessible, but there are places out there, but because we need to kind of stay in the locality of where we live and for people to get to, it was a big thing for us, and it was about, obviously, with me having a teenage daughter with autism and a severe mental learning disability as well. It was about inclusion, and it's like, it's breaking down that barrier as well, to use what we do to say anyone can do this. The paranormal, you know, but even someone like my daughter Grace, who's got a mental disability, there's no reason why, we did our Haunted Scouse Junior with our kids, and that was obviously, it was a much watered down version of what we do, but it was just to show it can be fun. You can take your kids out and do something like this. You don't have to have an S-Box digital recorder and things like that to try and capture anything. It's just, you can build the excitement like a ghost story at bedtime. It's that kind of thing. So to do that first episode and see it so well received, I mean, our Nikki was made up. She was the star of the episode, and that's the thing. It's if we've had, I think, has she been the only guest?
Yeah, I mean, she ended up in I can't remember what it was now, but it was Nikki the Scouse Ghostbuster. What was that? It was at it was a something in the Liverpool Echo where it's about people with disabilities, and I forget what it's called now. They do their own magazine as well.
Oh right.
And they got in touch, and they wanted to run a feature on it, which was brilliant. So it was on. They were also. She was also in a newspaper called. It's called All Together Now.
That was it.
Right.
That's one I was thinking of.
And it's there, and you can find it in all. When you go into the doctor's surgery and walk-ins and hospitals, it's always there on stand. It's a free newspaper, and it's brilliant. It features all kinds of articles, but it's about ability through disability. And it's brilliant to see how Nikki featured in there. And it's like, we were the subsection on it. It's like,
we were buzzing. It was our first episode, and it was like, less of those two. We want to see,
exactly.
See Nikki. So.
That was it. So it's been brilliant, and even I mean, credit to her. She's like a lot of people who've got limitations with the physical disabilities. She's been so limited in what she's been able to do during all the lockdown that even when we go back to. It was probably around about this time last year when we filmed it, wasn't it? It was, and she was just made up to get out the house, and then but to get out the house on the cold winter's night and get left in the middle of Calderstones Park by a brother
near a haunted tree.
I mean, if anything would have happened, there was a camera filming it also. We would have had plenty of evidence, but no, she really enjoyed it, and threw herself into it. 100%, and we're just looking for the right location to get her back out. She keeps henpecking me when I'm coming back out with you. So the fan events have actually turned it round so that she can come to the fan events. So it's so she can take part in that as well. And
you have to bring her here.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, that's what we've been discussing. We're going to be, we are going to be coming here and for fan event number 3 for ourselves, and having had a look around. It's a great location, and we know Mike and Nikki can take part, almost a full part in this. So and what I liked when you came in, I mean, we've only met you for the first time tonight, and the first thing you looked at and what we thought was amazing was with the access for Nikki, is it? For Nikki, which was brilliant, and that's how it should be. We should be including everyone. Precisely, that's it. And we know there's areas, as we've had to walk around, there's areas that they can't go to downstairs, but Nikki and Mike are just amazing people, amazing individuals, and to people who've never been around people with a physical disability, it just paints a completely different picture. I think of it's accepting that some buildings are not going to be accessible for things in the way that my sister's older than me, so I won't say her age, but I'm in my mid-40s, so there's a clue.
Sorry, you're only that young.
I know, it's hard to. It's spending 12 months with him.
I told you that, Jonathan. When you said he was nearly 50 or 60 or something, whatever you said, you lied.
Well, we're on radio, and you didn't see that wink then when he said mid-40s. You're on the wrong side.
1940s.
But no, I say that was the brilliant thing when I got in touch with yourself, and you said about the accessibility, and I thought brilliant, because it's like we reduced the ticket price for them. Obviously they're not getting the 100% experience, so we're not charging them 100%, even though they both said they would pay it. We that's not what we're about. And it was we've even got an event coming up in Wallasey, and Mike can't, unfortunately Mike lives around the corner from me, but he's been to the Grosvenor ballrooms, and he knows it's not accessible for himself, and he accepts that. But his wife Kaz and Mike's mum and a friend of theirs, so there's 3 ticket places going it's because straight away Mike said, right, you know, I want to buy 3 tickets. Kaz is coming, my mum's coming, and one of our friends is coming. And it's like, you know, that's you know, it was that acceptance of, I understand I can't get there, and you guys are looking for a location. So when we kind of revealed last Friday that we've got this place nailed down, it should be about as we think 60% accessible of what we're going to do on the night. And you know, he was made up. You know, straight away it was like, yeah, we'll be there.
I think it's being open-minded on like certain locations as well, where you always think, oh, there's got to be a haunted cellar, or let's get down into a cellar, or up in an attic, or in a really spooky spot, when actually like the main hall of somewhere, or the entrance, you know, why wouldn't that be just as active as these like little dark dingy corners? So
they're usually the most active, because that's where everybody is. You know, not everybody spends the time in a cellar all the time. The main areas are the entrances, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. As Adam just said, it's like, you know, Walton Hall we've been to, and we would probably say the cellar, which is renowned for the haunting in there of the monk, was probably the least active whilst we were down there.
I think the lock-off caught a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, the lock-off caught some brilliant evidence, which we will talk a little bit more about in a short while. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the Walton Hall itself, it was where the day-to-day activity went and took place, and that's the thing. Everyone goes, the attic space, it's got the creep factor, but I mean, how often do we go in the loft? You know, we get the Christmas tree out in December, we put it back in January, and then that's it. You know, for the rest of the time, if I'm going to haunt my house in years to come, it's going to be the man cave. It's not going to be the bleeding loft or or one of the toilets or something like that. So that's the thing. It's, as you said, it doesn't matter where you go, and it depends on the equipment you use as well. You know, that's the other thing with ourselves. We use equipment that allows the interaction regardless of physicality, or being able to get into the nooks and crannies of a courtroom in Accrington wasn't possible for Mike or Nikki. But the equipment we used meant they could take a full part. You hold the S-box and you ask the questions, we'll film you. And it was all, that's what it was all about. And that was the brilliant thing with being able to do that, and just show it can be done.
Yeah.
You know?
And showing others that it can be done as well.
Precisely, that's it, exactly. Get out there and just have a go. That's the thing.
Oh, 100%. I'm for that as well. And Adam, you're a school teacher.
I am, yes.
We won't mention the school or nothing like that, but you've gone from like teaching children, I don't know how old you are, we won't say how old you are or nothing like that, but to this.
Yes.
How'd you go from being a teacher of a daytime to ghost hunting of a nighttime?
I mean, it's quite easy when you're investigating with Chris, because he's just a big kid, really. Anyway, isn't he? So,
saucer of milk. Oh dear!
Walked into that. But
sorry, Chris, that was my fault. I threw the question at him.
No, it's say everyone's got their hobbies, haven't they? You know, and it's just funny when obviously I go to the football and I speak to my friends. It's the paranormal is one of these things where people are very quick to go, oh, that's a load of nonsense, that's rubbish. And then when no one's looking, they'll go, I'll tell you about that time I saw something, you know, I saw a ghost there. And they don't want to say it in front of everyone, but they want to get their story that everyone's seen or heard something before. So again, it was just the point where that's my day job, and this is kind of what I do to relax. And it's a very strange way to want to relax, but I think with Chris and I both having quite a fascination of history and a love for history, that it's like we kind of go in on investigating places and tap into the history of places, and it's just finding that story and trying to retell that story and bring it to life. And it's given us quite a lot of success, hasn't it, that we seem to do get a lot of like responses, and especially through the S-box and that, of names and dates and places.
Well, I sometimes joke that he's Indiana Jones. So it's so I think it was the Christmas episode last year at St James's Cemetery, and just for a little quirk I just put, because my nickname is Baldy, I don't know why, you know, but So I just finished off the Christmas one and just put, instead of just putting Chris Cummings, it was Chris Baldy Cummings and Adam Indiana Billing.
And this was like the Indiana Jones of Raiders of the Lost Ark, not when the fifth one's coming out and he looks a bit past it. That'll be me in a few years on these investigations.
Use in my frame.
But yeah, the good thing with the paranormal though is I years ago we couldn't be sitting here now talking about this because we'd be called cranks and God knows what else.
Yeah.
But the likes of Most Haunted, and before then I've mentioned this many a times, 1992 was a Halloween special on BBC One. I think it was BBC One or BBC Two. I don't even remember it, called Ghost Watch.
Ghost Watch with Pipes, wasn't it?
Pipes, that's it, Mr. Pipes. Yeah. And it was Sarah Greenwood,
Michael Parkinson,
and the fella off I can't. It's the Scouse was in it as well. Can't think of his name.
I got to narrow it down a bit there, Jamie. Give us a chance there.
I'll give you the clue. He was in that Mechanic Wars or something like that. The cars.
Craig Charles
was in it as well. That's him. Yeah. See, I did narrow it down in the end.
See, you did. You helped us out a bit there. I appreciate that.
Robot Wars. There you go.
Robot Wars. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, he was in it, and that brought it. I think that brought it forward because it was such a good program. I know it was a mockery in that, or not mockery, but it was set up. Yeah. And then that was 1992, and then in 2002, 10 years on, Most Haunted come along, and that's when it brought it to the forefront.
Yeah,
that's when everything went absolutely haywire.
I remember one even before that.
Go on.
In the 80s. Rent-A-Ghost?
1880s.
Oh, yeah.
Rent-A-Ghost, yeah.
Mr. Claypole.
Yeah. They were brilliant. There was a woman in that house of Coronation Street, wasn't there?
That's right, yeah.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, Sue Roberts, yeah.
I mean, they were great.
I just have no idea what you're talking about. I'm far too young.
You'll have to YouTube that.
He's saying he's far too young. Shame people can't see him and know he's lying.
That's working with Inmas last year. It's almost killed me off.
But yeah, I mean, David brought the ghost hunts to the forefront, and no one. I mean, would you have walked around with that on years ago?
No. To be honest, that's the weird thing. It took until we've been doing this for 6 months for us to kind of go. I mean, I had a Haunted Scouse face mask, because I kind of figured at first I didn't want to get them, and then because I thought it was a bit distasteful to what was going on, and then you kind of figured, well, do you know what? Everybody else is wearing them.
They're all advertising.
Yeah, so thought, sod it. I may as well walk around the shops with Haunted Scouse right across me gob. As well as a beanie hat on or a baseball cap, and get it out there. And but it took 6 months to kind of go. Like, I mean, I wear my hoodie to work most days now because obviously it's the name on the front and the back. Yeah. So if someone's walking behind me, you think, if one person every 100 gets the phone out and goes, Haunted Scouse, what's that like? And that's if we pop up on the Google search. We're not quite at the top of that yet. You've got to really look for it.
Well, I got spotted, didn't I, wearing mine? It was funnily enough in B&M, related to Chris there, but it was one of the other paranormal teams, Anubis, and as I was walking down the aisle with my kids there as well, and she kind of just did that double take and pointed and was like, Haunted Scouse. I was like, oh yeah, it's paranormal. She, oh yeah, is it Chris? And then I went home and burnt the face mask because I thought, if I'm wearing this and people think I look like him, I'm not having that.
When I told my missus that, she was howling laughing because she said he must have been fuming. I said, I wish it was in the next aisle. He'd have been throwing stuff off the shelves and everything.
That's perfect, that, isn't it? Hey. Oh, I love that. I wear this when I go out now. I wear this one, with the Access Paranormal, because people, they think, oh, like you said before, Chris, what that is, and you go and have a look for it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We all walk around with our football shirts on or our Adidas, Nike, whatever, and we think nothing of it. And then think, hang on, we're trying to promote something here. We're not doing this for profit because it makes us no money. We've got our day jobs, we've got our careers that pays the bills. This is
just
our hobby. But we want to push it out there for people to have that conversation with you and say, can I just ask? I mean, I had it in work last week. Somebody was walking out of work behind me. I work for B&M, the retailer, and at the head office, and as someone was walking out behind me, they went, love your jacket, by the way, it's cool. And I turned around and said, oh, thanks very much, it's my YouTube channel. They went, oh, really? Card out the pocket, there you go. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. So it started the conversation, and that's what it's all about. It's, you know, we do keep getting asked a lot about, you know, by the fans, you know, when are you going to start merchandising, but it's difficult to try and start all that up. It's a big thing. It's like if we were sat at home all day and all we had to do was go out, film a couple of episodes and then edit them. You've got all that time to put into it.
Right.
But I mean, we squeeze 1, maybe 2 filming nights a month, and then the rest of it's like we've got lives. You know, it's like, you know, get back to the family. And
I still find it really hard. I mean, especially when you start putting stuff like this together, that you think, who's going to want to buy this? And I mean, especially when we started the very first fan one, all I got with mates was, I wouldn't pay that money to see you, you know. And it's funnily enough, we put it out there and it sold out really quick. So I'm still on the lines of, no one's going to buy that, or no one's going to, you know, it's because we're just 2 lads from, you know, from Liverpool, and, you know, we don't see this as a massive thing, but clearly over the last year it has grown substantially. I bet
the Beatles thought like that as well. Who's going to buy our records? Do you know what I mean? And look where they are.
We bandied ideas around together, and like, I mean, the first event that we put on, when we did the tickets, it was a picture that we took for an episode that's coming up, you know, at St. Bridget's, and we just took this Mickey taking picture pretending we were scared. So I just pulled this stupid face at the front, and then Adam's in the background biting down on his fist like he's terrified as well. And most teams wouldn't dream of using that as promotional material, because they go, we need the cool shot. I can't do cool to save me life. He can. You know, he's the young cool one. I've tried, and I'm just like, I'll just give up. Just breathe out, for God's sake.
Do you know what he's done, Chris? He's watched the kids with all the, you know, the selfies, and he's thought, when he's in the classroom, you know, and they're all before they come in, he's like that.
Oh, he's got the one hand in the pocket and the other one's on the hip, looking all cool, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll have a go with that. And then I'm thinking, no, I just look like I'm a little teapot. You know,
after the 20th time, it's like, you know what, we'll just do something else.
Well, that one there, I mean, I know the radio listeners can't see it, but the one, if they'll go onto our Facebook page, they'd see it. That one there, all that was, the 3 of us, if you go on the Facebook page, it's the one with me, Jonathan and James Anthony on it. All we done was stood on the wall, James stood like that, I put my hands in my pockets, and Jonathan just thought he was on Rhinestone Cowboy with his hands. And all I've done was edited it in, and it looks great.
Yeah, exactly, that's the thing, and that's what we often get asked. Like, it sounds bragging, but we've done quite a few articles now, and we get asked, have you got any pictures? There's no pictures. We've literally never posed for a picture with the 2 of us.
The first thing you do is the rule. You get to a location, what do? You get a camera on. You need to turn a camera on, because you know when you're not recording, something's going to happen. And the minute you start recording, you just kind of forget and kind of go with it and get your other bits of equipment out, and off you go. And it's not until the edit we're like, oh, we should have took a picture there, shouldn't we? Or
we even done it at the fan events. We thought, do you know what? It's like, this was a location that Most Haunted, when we did Accrington, Most Haunted had this sold out every month, and look at all the pictures they have. Did you take any? No, I don't think I did. All we did was took one stupid selfie again. Everyone went in the courtroom on, and we went, should we take a quick selfie, drop it on social media, build it all up, look what we're doing tonight. Yeah, go on. Stupid face, selfie, dropped it on social media. And then when, you know, someone's asked us on, is it Blazing Minds or something? Oh, yeah. I apologise if I've got that wrong. It's a new follower of ours on social media, and they do reviews, cinema reviews and things like that. And they've jumped on board with us through one of our followers, Chrissy. Yeah. And they've asked us for pictures, because they want to do, like, Chrissy's written a first person perspective of attending one of our events as a fan about the Accrington one, and they're going to run with it, which is fantastic. You know, it's Chrissy's put a lot of effort in lately, so big shout out to Chrissy there. Well done, Chrissy. So they asked us for photographs, and so Adam sends me the message, and he wrote, what have you got? I said, I sent him that. He said, that's the only one I've got as well. Or, you know, what about these ones? And it's like, you know, there was a zombie apocalypse crew in before we were in there, so the ones we took that would have looked alright. All the smoke hadn't dissipated, where they'd used all of the smoke bombs and everything for the scare factor. So we were waiting for that it did look good when you walked in. It looked like we'd gone for this Michael Jackson Thriller effect on the way in, but it literally was just like someone opened a window and But
tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's it. But no, it's the one thing we as I say, we spoke about that on the way up here. We need to start taking more photographs on location and just just take 6 of the same picture. One of them's going to look half decent. Well,
that's what we do. Whenever we've had quite a few people in, and we always get them to either get a picture against the wall, the background, or against that wall. If we get them against that wall, it's for that. That's what we've started to do now, is making the posters with the people on it. And because at least people know they're identifying who's on the radio. Because we forget, we did when we started doing the posters, we forgot that people can't see you, and we were just taking pictures of us with them and keeping them for ourselves. I never thought, we should be putting them on the front cover. We were asking them to send pictures. We were getting pictures of them like on a deck chair in the garden and things, whereas we wanted it to make it look like this is you. This is about you, not about us. So that's why I've started doing it with people on the front of it, and that's why I say get a picture of you while you're here. And I think I messaged you and said, have you got a picture of you and Adam? And you went, no.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it came to the fore. Actually, no.
It's the one downfall, I think, of having just 2 of us in the team. There's no one else there, is there? So it's either a picture of Chris or there's a picture of me, and that's about it, isn't it? So
I usually take the 2 of you separate, and then I'll do something like that with it, so I know what I'm doing with it.
Well, as long as you get it, he's got to be on the left as you or the right.
Did you say I've got to call him Farquhar or something? Well, it was something similar to that. Well, but I can't repeat it.
Yeah, we can't call him Lord though, can we? I mean, he'll milk that.
I'll just put LF underneath it.
Well, I walk around thinking maybe I look a little bit like Bruce Willis in Night Vision, but apparently it's more like Ross Kemp does gangsters or Ross Kemp does ghost hunting.
So in here I've got Lord Farquhar, I've got Shrek, and I've got Bruce Willis.
Thank you, I'll take that.
And me.
Can we not have Dr. Evil instead?
And Donkey. And Donkey, thanks Chris. And Donkey, yeah.
That's stuck with you now, Jamie. I do apologise, kind of.
A bit of a
Well, let's talk a little about funny sides. I know you had the funny side with the dog before. Funny one happened to us, well, not us as a group, but to Jonathan, right? We went to Northwich Plaza. Well worth a visit. Well worth it. Once it's open again, you get the chance. Go there as well. Highly recommend it. He gets on the stage. We're all on the stage doing the call out and that. Anyway, we come to our break, and Jonathan decides that the quickest way down is off the stage, which is about that high off the ground. Jonathan thought it was that high off the ground. We had this bang, stumble and bang on the floor, and I turned around, what was that? And I turned around, have you ever seen them bodies? And then he draw the line around them.
Yeah.
That was Jonathan. It was the funniest moment in a ghost hunt I've ever seen.
It wasn't that high, really. Wasn't that high.
It was so...
I thought, see, like that cupboard there?
Yeah.
I thought it was like that. It was just straight down. But it wasn't. It was like that desk. So when I was sitting on the edge of it, that's when I put my feet on like that and jump off. Bloody legs just went straight in like that onto the stage.
We could just hear this really few bangs and a stumble, and that was it. And I was just saying, and then when you go like that, what was that? And I turn around, and there's him. Honest to God, if you'd had a chalk, you could have drew around him as one of them bodies.
Well, we had similar at Hadlow. Yeah, it's in the episode, and it's I went to jump off the platform at Hadlow, and because it's dark, but it was lit enough, but to me it looked like it was about 4 foot high. So I'm thinking, I don't want to jump down onto here, twist my ankle or something. I've got to drive home. So I kind of braced myself for it, and it was only about 2 foot. So my knees were still bent when I landed, and they just ricocheted right up my back. And I said it was like for anyone who's, as I say in the episode, for anyone who I mean, I love Dad's Army, and there's an episode of Dad's Army where they're stuck on a raft in the middle of this river. So Mannarin rolls his kecks up, takes his shoes and socks off, and goes, "I'll take one for the team." Jumps in, it goes up to his shin, and it was kind of like that. And it was, but literally by the time I landed, I was still crouched. It was so low down. It was
And come on, Adam, what's happened to you?
I can't even think now off the top of my head. What's happened to me?
Something's got to happen to him.
There's got to be something.
I think we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
I'll let you think about that.
Me?
Hey?
What about you?
Which one? There's a few of them. Which one was me?
I don't know. Which one?
Is it the one where I went past the mirror and we were looking for someone? I said, yeah, there like that, and it was me. There he is over there. Look, there he is. He said, Jamie, that's the mirror. It's you. I've had that one. How many other things have I done? Oh, going to ghost hunts.
Yeah.
I'm horrendous for going the wrong way or going out the way. And me, Marie, my partner, we were going for a meeting, a paranormal meeting up in Wales, Rill. So anyway, we're getting in the car, we're driving, you know the way you start talking and all this lot. And we were just plodding along there. Next minute we get a phone call. Hi Jamie, where are you? I said, we're on our way. He said, well, you should have been here about half an hour ago. I said, well, we're not far, we can't be that far away from you. Well, where are you? I said, well, I don't know, we're just going on this bypass at the moment. And he said, right, okay then. Tell us when you get an identification. I said, okay then. I said, yeah, there's a sign here, it says so-and-so, so-and-so. Right, okay. About half a mile down, you'll come to a roundabout. Stay on the phone. I said, okay then. Gets to the roundabout. He said, go round the roundabout and come back exactly the same way as you came. I said, right, okay then. I said, why is that? He said, you're about 12 miles past us. Because we've been talking that much, we forgot about the signs and everything, just kept going. If we hadn't stopped talking, you hadn't rang us, I don't know where we would have ended up, somewhere in South Wales or something. Have I fell off anything? Nope.
No. I think for me it's more equipment. Any time a piece of equipment comes out, it's I can't be trusted. I can't turn it on. It doesn't work for me. I mean, I'm 100% thinking it's paranormal, but I can't pass it off anymore now. I'm just terrible at it. You know, you've heard it here first. I just can't use the equipment properly. So, yeah, you know, you sit at home, you test it, you put batteries in, and then we get out on an episode, we split up, you know, and I'll go, right, here we go, try and turn something on. Right, it won't work. And then we meet back up, and Chris is like, yeah, I did an SB7, I did an Xbox, what did you do? I was calling out a little bit because I couldn't get the equipment on.
So all that stuff while you filmed, you could have had some cracking stuff on there.
I mean, this was last winter. I mean, we kind of, and it gave us a good boost on the channel because last winter we geared everything up to Christmas Eve and we released our St James's Cemetery episode. And that was our longest episode to date. It was the first one that went over an hour, and we panicked over it a bit. And now, funnily enough, almost 12 months on, an hour is the minimum we want for a full episode of our, because there's plenty of content. But then we started going out and doing lives because unfortunately myself and my wife got COVID last December. My wife was really ill with it in hospital, so that was me out the game as far as priorities. You know, Haunted Scouse didn't even come into it. But this is where it's great having a teammate like Adam, because he just stepped up and went, I'll try a live. But as he said, he'd message me first, and whenever we do a live, we FaceTime each other, and it's a bit of a comfort when you're in the woods. Like, he's been to Bidston Hill on his own in the pitch black. I've done Woolton Woods and Allerton Towers, you know, on my own. And we'd FaceTime each other first, and we'd say, what's that shot like? Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, what about that one? Yeah, that's great, that. And then it'd be like, right, okay, test the equipment. So he's setting up the PSB7 with the speaker, puts it on. Yeah, brilliant, okay, turns it off. Soon as he's live and everyone's watching on YouTube, okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is use the SB7, plugs it in, presses the button. Hang on guys, just bear with me a second. Then the camera's pointing up at the sky or something. You can just
like
see
the nose and things like that. Yeah.
You're looking at his feet, and he's going, hang on, and the camera gets picked up again. Don't know what's wrong with that, guys. I mean, it was working before I went live. So anyway, what we'll do, we'll carry on. And it became a thing of, by the time we got to like live number 3, we promoted it by saying, can Adam get the SB7 working? Find out at 7 o'clock over on the YouTube channel.
So it worked.
And people tuning in just to see if he could get the SB7. And it was like, first time when he finally got it to work, and everyone was like, was like cheering emojis in the chat and everything.
It just goes to show any idiot can do this, can't they, really? You know?
Yeah, but the thing is, it shows that you've got the sense of humour as well, and even your fans have got the sense of humour, which is good.
Yeah, because they've all bought into it, and that's the thing with like the nicknames. He's the hairy one. Don't touch the hair has always been a thing with it, and we've even played with that with like the spirits, and it's like we've even done it that way. It's like Adam will say, you can touch me, just don't touch the hair, and it's like when he's locked in a cellar, it was in I think it was in the Coburg pub in Stanhope Street in town in Liverpool. And Adam says that if there is anyone down here with me, he's all alone in the cellar, and if you can, you're welcome to touch me, just don't touch the hair. And then he's talking to the camera, he's going, no, seriously, don't touch the hair because it will go off. And then it's it, but there's an orb just behind them at that moment, and it's a really good capture. But then we were using the Spirit Talker app, and it came through, was it playing or something, and it was like
I think it said touch, and then
touch.
And then
that's right,
playing after it,
and then she was said, right, okay, so you're just playing with me, are you? And it became interaction with the app and potential spirit interaction using the app, all because of the joke that we've got, with his hair. Whereas, I say my nickname's just Baldy for obvious reasons, so it's but
don't
again,
touch the hair.
Well, that's it. Again, we just go with it, and that's the thing. If you can't have a laugh doing this, we take it extremely seriously, and the lengths we go to debunk potential outstanding evidence that other teams might just throw out there and say, "What do you think?" We'll look at it and go, "Was it? Wasn't it?" I'll edit it and say, what do you think? And he said, I don't think that was, I think that was this, that was that. Phantom voices, and we're trying to convince each other that it's not ourselves talking and things and everything. We went to Walton Hall and captured on the camera a door closing whilst I was sat in a chair filming Adam, and we were just talking about the setup of the next shot, and it's in the episode because as we're talking about that, the door closes right behind him, and it's a great shot. As Adam hears the bang of the door, I've got Adam and the thing in shot, and then he swings round, and then I go picture in picture to show the lengths we go to try to debunk it, but we couldn't. So we kind of look at the camera and say, we're not saying it's 100% paranormal, but you've just seen us literally for 20 minutes. Adam's trying to debunk this door closing, and we couldn't. So, but I mean, there's like 2 or 3 minutes of that attempt to debunk it in there, just to be honest and transparent and say, we could have jumped up and down, legged it down the corridor, and gone, never going back there again, and it would have made for brilliant viewing. But what's the point? Because we've been back since, and the same thing happened to us twice when we went back again. And the lengths we went to try to debunk that was ridiculous, but it still happened twice again.
I'm still very much on the fence really, and on the more sceptical side of it. So I do try and maybe over the top, like scientifically look for something, whether it be a draft or something may have happened. And I think that also is a good bit of balance, that everything that you hear is like, there's that paranormal, but
well, we've said that it's great getting the paranormal and saying that's paranormal, but you also get satisfaction saying we've debunked that at least we know in ourselves that it wasn't paranormal, and that's what it's about as well, is being truthful.
And I think that's why honest. A lot of people obviously comes to the YouTube channel and watches, because if we don't get anything, you'll get a half hour, an hour of just obviously Chris and I just taking the mick, but you get to see a great location, learn a little bit, laugh a little bit, and if we don't capture anything, we don't, and it's just exactly what it is. But it's I think it's a good little ethos that we've got there, and that's why so many people want to come and watch us.
Yeah, precisely.
Going back to Walton Hall, we've just been talking about it then, and I mean, I spoke to you quite a bit about Walton Hall, and I mean, I've watched the episode because I still think the pigeon was the top class person in that. Animal in that. I thought that was brilliant filming. I thought you'd done it, superbly. And I mean, I was there with you when you were going around them rooms and everything. This is great, Even though I've not been there myself, I felt as I've been there now. And we were talking about it, and how sad is it that it's now in such a dilapidated state. It's and I was looking at it and thinking, this is our history. this is our history falling apart.
Well, that's the heartbreaking thing. I mean, there is a new Facebook page now that's called Save Walton Hall, and it's starting to grow really well. So, I mean, if anyone's listening, you want to head over to that, feel free to ask to join that group, because Walton Hall is a Grade 1 listed building, and that puts it on the same level as the Anglican Cathedral, as the Royal Albert Dock, as the Liverpool Town Hall. So this is the pedigree of building. One of the main rooms was it was redesigned by Robert Adams, the architect. So it's got everything there that if it was anywhere else in the country, we just feel it'd be saved automatically. And there's a gentleman called Jonathan Wilde who's jumped on board now, and he's set up. He's done quite a few things on the history of Liverpool and things like that, different places, but also to protect the heritage. He set up websites for different places, and he's doing a brilliant job. I mean, literally, we've been interacting, in behind the scenes, and he's only set up this Facebook page this week, and already the Echo have jumped on board. And as he said on it, we're not against the owners. The owners bought the building, and they bought the building with the intentions of doing it up into a nursing home or something like that. But for whatever reason, that never came to fruition, and that was nearly 20 years ago now. But in that time, the building has been allowed to deteriorate. And I mean, as someone who went there in the 90s to parties and weddings and everything like that, and we've got some of that footage interspersed in the Walton Hall episodes, and it just shows that contrast from how lively it was with music and dance, and me about 10 stone lighter as a 19-year-old, but then you see it now, and that was why I always had those shots in my head. As soon as we got into Walton Hall, I knew I wanted to, it was with what we had, it was my version of James Cameron doing the camera down the Titanic, and going from the dilapidated rusted heap, and it comes to life, and there's Jack and Rose at the end of the Titanic, and and everything, and that's the dramatic shot I wanted to try to create on a budget. and I think it worked well, finding the shots that I had as a 19-year-old with the camcorder in my hand, and then the same shots as a 44-year-old going around in the same place, going up the staircase, and there's my mate Carl, whose birthday it was, running up the stairs, and his little brother running past, and then going to the contrast of the same staircase of me and Adam walking up, and it's in night vision, but I dropped the volume completely on it, so it hits home. You've got the contrast of the music of the party, and everyone's loud and enjoying themselves, and then I just dropped the volume completely, so you don't even hear us talking or walking or anything. You just got the silence, and I think it does hit, and it's
an impact,
exactly. But no, I think we've lost enough. Though these places are great for paranormal explorers or urban explorers, and those that fully respect the places, like Carl with Dark Arts.
Carl Hassel.
Yeah, exactly. And Carl's been there a few times, and he's of the same kind of ilk of, this place needs protecting. He was one of the first ones to go there, if not the first, to go and film anything paranormal at Walton Hall. Yeah. And he's been back subsequently since, and he had one on recently, and he was saying how sad it was to see how it had deteriorated from the last time he was there, just 2 years before. We went twice, and within 6 weeks there'd been a fire. Unfortunately, John, who was the caretaker, just managed to go in at the point when this fire had been set, in the main gallery room, which is wooden panels all the way around. Someone broke in and deliberately started a fire, and if it wasn't for the fact that people were just about to go in on a permission visit, that fire got put out, but it burned a major hole in the floor that wasn't there 6 weeks before.
Yeah, I think they had to go with some of like the replica paintings as well, and we're like wrapping them off the walls and things.
I think, Adam, I've seen photographs of the paintings, and they've destroyed them, or they've tried to destroy them.
Yeah, they've defaced them with paint and that. And these are the copies of the original paintings of the Molyneux family and the Ashton family, which is the history. I mean, Walton Hall was built in 1704. So it goes back a long way to being a military hospital. It goes back such a long way, and it is such a shame. And as we've said with this new Facebook page, we don't expect the owners to turn around and say, here it is, here's the keys, you guys do what you want with it. We've volunteered to go in and help clean the place, help clear the grounds and things like that. And for legal reasons and insurance reasons, it's not being accepted, and we understand that. Yeah. But it's trying to work with them and say, look, we want to be if you want it to be something special like we do, we're all here to help you. We want to promote it, we want to push it, and things like that. So fingers crossed it does gain gather some momentum.
And it's like the same here in Mill Street. If they could make it safe for paranormal groups to go in, and paranormal groups are willing to pay, that could go towards Walton Hall coming back to something like it should be. And we're losing so much history, and that is a piece of our history. That, like you said, the Molyneux family and everyone, the Molyneux family were big in Liverpool,
exactly,
and we should be saving the history.
Yeah.
And Walton Hall, I mean, everybody knows Walton Hall.
Yeah.
I know there's 2 Walton Halls. There's one in Warrington and one in Liverpool.
Well, it's spelt slightly differently. The one in Warrington is Walton, W-A-L, like Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is wool, like what you get off a sheep.
That's, yeah.
But yeah, so it's but no, complete, and that's one of the things we put forward and turn around and said, look, urban explorers or photographers and paranormal teams, they're willing to pay.
Definitely.
And the building's not an unsafe building at all. It just needs, basically the roof needs looking at. Like any building, if you keep the roof intact, the rest of it you can be looked after. But it's not unsafe. There's no floorboards that you need a sign over saying don't step on here and things like that. And so it is a building that is safe for paranormal teams to go into. And you do wonder if they'd looked into that, if there's a potential revenue for putting towards the refurbishment or the security of it and things like that.
I think obviously our second episode that went onto our YouTube channel, Chris said, let's go and explore Walton Woods. And then when we got into the woods, Chris was obviously explaining about, I'd love to get into Walton Hall. And you can obviously see just by sitting here and listening to him how passionate he is about Walton Hall, and about how the minute we got in there and he saw the unfortunate state that it was in, he thought, I'm going home and I'm doing something about this. And he was straight on, and he was emailing MPs, he was all over it, and it's just, anytime he got something back, he was updating people. So I think Chris has been a real driving force. I know he's very modest and he'll say other people, but he's really has proper got involved there, and it's great to see. And I will throw the odd compliment at him every now and again.
Because when I spoke to Chris on the phone, we got on to Walton Hall, didn't I? And I said, I'd love to go there, I'd love to do this and all as well. And he was saying, it's a shame the way it is. And straight away I thought, this is our history again. And I said to you, didn't I, when we get you in the studio, we'll talk about it and we'll bring that to the forefront and say, let's every single paranormal group, we all want these buildings, we all want to invest. Why don't we all give some kind of support to Walton Hall?
Yeah.
We want them. We want to go in there. Let's look after them. Let's protect them. And maybe we can go back in there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and it's, I suppose it brings us nicely to, getting back in there. Yes, if you don't mind us going off on a little...
Go for it. No, this is your show.
Not so much of a tangent as this will probably be the first time we'll officially announce that our Halloween episode for this year finds us back at Walton Hall, because young Adam over there had the foresight to go back, not just go back because we couldn't wait to get back into Walton Hall once we'd been there once. And it was like, literally that 5 hours has just gone too fast. We need to go back and do another 5 hours, or maybe even 6 hours. And then Adam said, well, why don't we make this the Halloween special? And your first thought is, it's only April. And then it was kind of like, well, no, because I'm the one who keeps hammering on. I want to film all these episodes, and I know I'll have loads to edit. But the more I've got edited, the more time I can give back to the wife, who's very understanding. And it worked out perfectly, because a couple of weeks later we could no longer get back in there. that we timed it perfectly to film it. So yeah, I mean, our Halloween special this year is a feature length Walton Hall episode that we hope everybody really enjoys, because we really tested ourselves. You know, Soft Lad over there had the idea of let's go back to Walton Hall, but this time one of us will sit outside in the car and the other one will go inside and do an hour on their own we'll have a lock-off camera upstairs on the door that closed over in the episodes, you see. We'll have a lock-off camera in the monk room in the cellar, and then we'll take the other night vision camera and we'll just walk around with it. Oh yeah, that sounds great when you sat there and the sun's shining and you're in your houses, or we're somewhere nice before we start an investigation. And then you get there and you find out that the electricity supply got cut off the week before. So there's literally, the first time we went, there was a room that you could use as a base room, and it was one of the old bars. Brilliant base room, but the lights were on. So you just shut the door over and then you were in pitch black. But then when we went back, no power to the building whatsoever. So the base room was lit up by this halogen lamp. And the minute you turned it off, it was pitch black. I mean, we were probably one of the last paranormal teams to actually do an invest in there on a permission visit anyway. But I think as investigators, you've got to test yourself, you've got to push yourself, and I think obviously going alone and doing a solo, you think, well, that should like heighten your senses a little bit. And I thought, well, what better way? Why don't you have the whole Walton Hall mansion to yourself?
Yeah, speak for yourself. Not finding my own shadow.
It did work perfectly. I mean, from the minute we went in, it's weird. We go into locations now, and I go into editing mode straight away, and especially if we split up. But we split up in the same location, and it's that fear that if we just follow each other around, how do I make Adam's experience look different to my experience? But that was my first fear with Walton Hall, because we didn't know whether we went in the front door and went left or went right, because we just went, I'll see you later. Like, I mean, we did the coin toss to start it, and Soft Lad here, you know, over this side had to go in first.
You had to go in first?
Yeah. He said all night, I'm going to go in first. And then something happened, which we can't really say, because it'll just give away part of the whole episode to come. But something happened that changed his mind while we were setting cameras up.
The lights went out.
There was no lights to go out. That was but yeah, it was it made him change his mind. So all week, I'll go first, yeah, you know, and I'll get the experience. And then, you know, when he won the coin toss, I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to go in first. And then he just completely flipped it on its head and went, no, do you know what, you can go first.
Just throw a curveball, you know, you've got to win that coin toss. It's mixing it up, isn't it?
Exactly.
Made for absolutely brilliant viewing anyway, from what I've seen of it so far. So
the thing is, Chris, he's no good with equipment anyway, is he? He'd probably just got a completely blank screen.
Well, you want to see 20 minutes of the episode is him trying to find the coin again when it landed on the floor. But no, I mean, again, we're really proud of it. It's, you know, we've put so much effort into the idea of a feature length Halloween special, just to reward everyone who's been following us and subscribed, and it's we think we've done them proud, and that's the thing. We go into everything with, will they like it?
I think as well, obviously that marks the 1 year anniversary of Haunted Scouse, basically, of coming to life, because our very first one was Halloween last year, and we thought, well, what can we do to kind of, you know, make this really,
it's a must.
So we just struck upon the idea and roll with it, and I think it's potentially probably going to be one of our best ones that's actually on the channel. So
yeah, exactly. We kind of say to ourselves, of the first 50 subscribers that we got are still with us, and we're confident of that. And these are the guys that whenever we have a premiere, you know, we there's even other teams, you know, that we're starting to get to know now. You know, Shadow Hunters, the girls in there, Louise and Amy, they're there in the live, in the premieres and everything, and it's brilliant that other teams join in. And we always kind of say we make the episodes for the core support, and if you get others jumping in, fantastic. Come and join in the chats. You know, we have people that pour their heart out in the premieres and the chats, and everyone jumps straight in. I'm really sorry to hear that you're having a tough time. You know, if you need anyone to talk to, you know, hope this takes your mind off it. And it's just a fantastic community and fan base that we've got, that we just wanted to reward them. And we always say, like, we have these ideas for how the episode should go, never goes to plan, because and sometimes because you get evidence, you've just got to go with it, and other times because equipment failures, or you know, it just goes in a different direction. But then we just think, will the core fans like it? Will they watch it? And the Halloween one's going to be a good 2.5 hours long.
Wow.
We've gone full length for this, which we looked at what other teams do for Halloween, and that's what they tend to do.
It's hard. Obviously, Chris is the one who sits there in his man cave and does all the editing and, you know, puts it all together. I have, like, especially when he came over to the Widdle, all these different ideas. It's like, I want this, and I kind of go, right, over to you now. You've got to go and do it, and then he'll upload it and I'll watch it, and then, you know, I'll obviously slate him behind his back, but say it's still good, and, you know. But no, he puts a lot of time and a lot of effort in. Everything you see on there is all obviously through him, and you know, you can see from last year to now how much, I don't want to say how much better it is, but you know, the quality and how we as a team, that, you know, we're thinking, well, that won't work, and we're looking at different ways of filming and different ways of editing as well. So it has really come along this last year.
It's simple things like focus.
Yeah.
You know, we spent so long refocusing cameras, went outside by pointing it at the floor, so we'd focus on some leaves on the floor. And then it took us about 6 episodes to figure, all we got to do is put our hand in front of it, and it focuses on your hand, and you're done. And as simple as that. And now we know that. And then also counting down, if you say something, if you're going to say something to camera and something happens and it's not paranormal, or a car goes past, then start again. You know, and we do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, okay. And then so it helps me with the edit, and it's all things like that you don't think of at first. It's just that, you know, I've got this idea in my head, we'll do one take, and thinking we had to stop this thought process that you can't do more than one take on a paranormal show. Well, you can, because you're not faking any evidence. You're doing the bits that are going to bind the episode together.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to get that right, because if you don't get that right, people are going to go, it's all right, but, you know, you're mumbling a bit there, aren't you? You know, or, you know, we find the audio levels, we need to be close to the camera. You know, if it's windy, we need the camera that way. If we're too near a road, we need to move away from it, and things like that. So it has there's some tough edits that there's been this last few months. And again, this is where I know I keep shouting out the wife, but she gives me the time and the support to do this, and she really enjoys the show as well, which is the big bonus.
It's a bonus.
It does. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, Suzanne's got the same love of the paranormal that I have.
Oh, she.
So it's so that's the brilliant thing, to produce something that she enjoys as well, and all my family enjoy. You know, so hosting events has been brilliant. In, like, you know, the last one had my mum there, my sister there, my wife there, you know, and Adam's missus as well.
That's
it's
why
like,
we sold out so quick, to be honest. It was like friends and family.
Yeah, it was the Cummingses and the Billings. Yeah.
Does your wife enjoy the paranormal as well?
No, she hates it.
Does she really?
Yeah, she's just like, no, don't involve me. You bring anything home? No, not a chance.
Really?
Oh yeah,
it's like mine.
Yeah.
And yours the same, isn't
Very
it?
closed off. Yeah.
Whereas Marie, my partner Marie, you know, like you were saying, you're doing the Walton Hall thing, and save Walton Hall, by the way.
Yeah.
If you turn around to Marie and said to her, what I want to do is going to give you a camera, I'm going to send you into Walton Hall for an hour, come back in an hour with some bit of video, she wouldn't care, would she? She'd just go, okay,
just go. What
time do you want me back? Okay. And you won't see her for the hour. She's got no fear of anything. We went to, I don't know if you've ever been there yet, Morecambe Winter Gardens. And she went to Morecambe Winter Garden. Has anybody seen Marie anywhere? No. Anyway, we went looking for her. And in Morecambe Winter Gardens is it looks like a cellar, but it was an old swimming pool area. It's all lovely tiled and everything else. She was down there on her own, pitch black. She's got no fear. We were in here, weren't we? Chatting away, and I was, do you know where Marie is? No. Anyway, she come back home and said, yeah. She'd gone down into the cellar on her own in the pitch black and done 15 minutes of an investigation with herself. For us.
My missus has got she's got the gift of sight, but she closes it off.
Yeah.
So in the past we've gone to, for instance, Bloody Acre which I know, we spoke about, and hopefully, we'll get you guys on it. We want to do a follow-up episode there, and we want you guys to join us on that.
I'd love to, yeah.
But Bloody Acre was one where me and Suzanne went on a recce, and the kids were staying in my mum's, so we went up, we parked up next to All Saints Church, which is parallel with the Acre, and Suzanne literally got out the car, popped her head over the church wall, turned round and clicked the fingers, not in a nasty way, and said, "Can I have the car keys?" And I went, "Why?" She went, "I'm waiting in the car, I'm not going in there." And I only went to take a few pictures to send to Adam and say, "This is the Bloody Acre and this is the church that I was telling you about," so that he could visualise what I was trying to say would make a brilliant episode. And Suzanne turned around when I got back in the car. I just went missing for 20 minutes walking around everywhere. Got back in the car and said, "You're okay?" She went, "I am now." She said, "But as soon as I put my head over that wall," she said, it was like Harry Potter when the bad guys are all turning into, it's like they're just like wisps, black wisps going around everywhere.
Dementors.
The Dementors, thank you. She said that's what it looked like to her. It was like a parallel universe on that, but within the churchyard. So as soon as she pulled herself back onto the road side of the wall, fine. And Accrington police station and courts was the same. She felt the presence of who we now know as Sergeant Booth. She felt that presence following us round. We went to have a look around the place, me, Adam and Suzanne, before we booked it for our event. Again, that was another one. Suzanne turned around and said, "Can I have the car keys?" And while we were still chatting to Anthony and Sharon, who used to look after the place, Suzanne went and made her apologies and went and sat in the car. And she said, literally, it's like they know you've got the gift and they know they're there, but because you don't open yourself up to them, they can't do anything, but you can feel the aggression of, "How dare you ignore me?" And she said she just felt this male presence. And when we watched the episode back that was on last week, and one of the guests, Kaz, describes the exact same feeling, not having spoke to Suzanne about her experience. And Kaz, towards the end of the episode, describes the thing in that doorway there, in the same area. There's just a big stocky man, and he's just looking at us. And I just, in my mind's eye, I can just see him looking at us. And there's just something about him. And when Suzanne saw it, she went, "That is exactly, because they'll meet each other again at the Grosvenor event." And she said, I'll have a good chat with Kaz about that. I say, Suzanne, she just blocks it off. She doesn't want to open herself up to that side, but she does sense things. It's so that's it's interesting. It's a thing. I think people just think anyone with that kind of gift just opens themselves up, and it's, "Oh, I'd love that." And Suzanne always says, "No, you wouldn't."
Some people don't like it too.
Yeah, that's it. And she says she just finds it's a bit it's too much. She said emotionally it just overwhelms you if you let it.
See, I'd love to experience it, and I think it's because I've never experienced it like that.
Yeah.
That we all want that stuff. We all want to experience it. I'm not one for putting protection on. I don't know what you think about protection.
Well, I get made to take Suzanne's mum's crucifix, little gold crucifix. And I started carrying that round with me the night we were going to film Bloody Acre because of Suzanne's experience. She went, "You're not going near that place without that." But
she didn't care about me. She didn't give me anything.
Yeah, exactly. but no, she made me take a St. Christopher and the crucifix, and I had it in the pocket. I had like a little zip pocket on combat pants that I wore on that night. And we filmed 2 episodes that night, Walton Woods, which Adam mentioned before, and Bloody Acre. And during the Walton Woods S-Box session, we got a lot of religious words through, which we later found that was very relevant to the grounds of Walton Woods. But just after that, we're just walking along, and I just happened to feel down in the pocket, and the zip was down. Now, initially, it was pure panic. That crucifix better be in there because sadly Suzanne's mum is no longer with us, so I thought I better not have lost that. I'd have been there the torch all night looking for it. But the St. Christopher and the crucifix were still in my pocket, but the zip was down. So why was the zip down? And a show on camera that you could tug at it and it didn't move, and it was almost like it was a good piece of the episode because Adam had no idea. I just turned around and said, do us a favour, mate, just turn the camera on me because I need to say this to camera. And you could tell Adam's a bit, right, okay, I don't know where we're going with this, but I'll turn the camera and point it on him. And you kind of like, it was my first experience of, did the spirits know what was in my pocket? And then we did get a lot of it was a lot of worship type words, wasn't it, on the S box, and it's like a lot of religious things, and you do wonder, did they know, not in a sinister way, but it was like, hang on, there's a cross there, I'm trying to get to that cross. But then when I realised that and I zipped it back up, we moved around away from that area. So it's there's a lot more to it than I think I ever dreamt there would be before we started this. It's the deeper into it we go, and we mentioned this before, we don't use Ouija boards, we don't do aggressive calling out. We're there to have a conversation. That's always been, I think Adam was the first one to say it, it's our tagline, we just want to tell your story.
I think if we're obviously having a conversation now, and if we start effing and jeffing and shouting at you, it's going to be like, hang on a minute, I'm not going to want to talk to you. So
I'm used to it.
That's what we say, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we say that.
I always say with the most important thing with paranormal is give them respect.
100%. Yeah.
The people like us, or they were people like us. Yeah. They must have feelings. They've got to have feelings because they were like us. Yeah. And we are in their property or in their home or where they lived, and we should give all that respect. I don't like it when people going, come on now, I've seen it and I don't like it. I think you get more if you probably notice yourselves, the more relaxed you are and the more friendly you are, the more they'll come forward to you.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it's going with the evidence. It's Hadlow Road was a prime example of, you go there, train station, brilliant, and Adams, wait till you see this location, and it was like, wow, visually this is going to look fantastic, and it did. And then we started working with the Spirit Talker app, and then we used one called Ghost Hunting Tools, which was the first app we used, and it's a brilliant app. But then they started working together, these apps, and it started to tell us this story about a female and a male, and then we got the names when we asked for the names through the apps. Just only two names, only one female and one male, which made it a lot more relevant for us. And then as we're thinking, is this is a romance story? This is where they met, and then all of a sudden it takes a turn of, right, hang on, it took a sinister turn of words that were violent words. And it's like, right, okay, so are we tapped into something else here? And that was one of them where I think because we're parents as well, and that's the thing, our protective instinct came out for this female spirit of, right, okay, so where do you want us to go to help you, to see you? And it led us literally to the end of the railway line into a little bit of woodland, and literally started a second session on the apps. And again, the apps bounced back and forth between each other with relevant responses to what we were saying, to the point where when we got back out, the last word was picture or photograph. And nothing was on the photographs, unfortunately, but we did kind of feel like, emotionally, it felt like a journey, but it kind of felt like we were called into that area. And then by the time we came back out, maybe we'd help this spirit of we got the name. We only got two female names all night, Jess and Jessica. And so and this was in two different sessions of turning the app on, turning the app off, having a little quick break for a drink of water, and then let's go down there. And to start a different session on the Spirit Talker app, you will get a lot of similar names. At times you can do one session every night of the week, and by the fourth night you're going to get the name Charles, or you're going to get you potentially get Jess again, because it's only got so many in there. But to get Jess and Jessica, and they were the only two, it did put a lot of relevance on it, and the words were where we were and things like that. We've come into the woods to see if we can find you and speak to you, and the first word on mine was seek. SEEK. We've come to find you. Seek. There you go. Which way should we go? Left or right? Right. Okay, so let's go to the right. And it's like, so as we always say, it's Adam always says his dream bit of kit is the Ovulus, but it's completely out of our price range. Yeah. But is the Ovulus not just a word bank?
It is.
And is the mobile phone a word bank? It is. And we use them in flight mode. We've even got one of them now where it hasn't even got a SIM in it. Yeah. Because it's Adam's old phone with the apps still on it, so it still functions as a tool for the apps. Yeah. So it's we can't even turn around and say it's tracing the GPS. You're in a graveyard and it says graves. Well, yeah, okay. Well, if you had that, you could kind of tap into the GPS side of it, but it is just a word bank like the Ovulus. So why can't we believe more about what you pick up on it? Because it didn't cost us £800. Yeah. Is the relevance seems to be poor. Equipment is weighted on cost, and we, I don't know why on that. As we always say to people, you need a torch, you need a mobile phone, and buy yourself a mobile phone rig and a decent handle, and off you go. And if you wanted to invest in a light to go on the top of that rig, there you go. You've got what a lot of teams are using to record YouTube channels.
Yeah, all right.
There.
So is that what you use?
No, well, we actually use Panasonic camcorders. Right. We've got the same model. We've got 2 that are normal vision, so they haven't been modified, and we've got 3 night vision cameras. So it's Panasonic V110s we use. So the full HD, and but yeah, we've got 3 that have been modified to night vision, and 2 that are normal. But I say we got them off eBay. We're always tracking eBay just to see if there's any bargains on there. So if for instance, one of the ones that we've got that I use, I paid £15 for on eBay because it was just one of those freak ones when nobody else bid on it, and Adam was fuming because a couple of weeks later he paid £51 for the exact same model.
51.
Yeah.
But
Scouse, eh?
But the other 2 that I've got, I think one of them was 45 and the other was 48 or something like that. Yeah. I just got really lucky with the £15 one. Nobody else bid on it. It was just a slow day. You're sitting there watching and you're thinking it's going to get to the last minute and someone's going to, you put your top bid in of making £40 and whatever pence, and then you think someone's going to outbid me at the last minute here, and no one did. And then again, it goes back to Bennett Ghost Quest. He helped out by he got the lenses modified to night vision for us, and that's literally what we use, and we see what other teams are using, and we look at apps and we try to get different apps. We use an app called The Witch 2 on some of the more recent episodes. It is the creepiest thing that I've ever heard. The Witch 2, yeah. But it literally is the creepiest thing that when you put it on in the dark. When we put it on in the fan event in Accrington, they to say they didn't enjoy their experience of the Witch 2 app is a complete understatement. It everyone was just, what is that? Because it literally just sounds like it's whispered voices, but it's all phonics in reverse. So where we're talking normally now, it's all whispers and it's all going backwards, and then it goes in a loud voice and then a low voice. But it sounds like about 8 different people talking at once, but whispered.
What's it go like?
But it's a ridiculously creepy app. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we're always on the search for, is what else can we use, and what else is somebody else inventing that's within our price range.
But there's as you both know, there's so much equipment out there. You could end up like NASA.
Honestly, I mean, it's your eyes and your ears are always going to be your best tool. And it's great that you got your camcorder there to record as well, but it's nice to have things to interact with depending on your location. If it could be a former orphanage, if you had little toys that children might want to come and play with them. But I quite like just being in the moment and just sitting there going, right, you're just quiet for 10 minutes and just have a little listen.
100%.
Yeah. So but it's always good having things like the REM pod's been a good bit of kit that didn't work, what I thought, for the first like 5 months of having it, and then all of a sudden it just kind of sprung into life, didn't it? Which again does go to show that I put it out on every investigation. It just you know.
Do you think sometimes, or when we're using this equipment, we're learning how to use it? How do they supposed to know how to use it?
Yeah.
So, because the equipment's coming in, it takes them months to think, oh, right, okay, that's what you do.
Well, that's it with the REM pod. I mean, was Peter Kavanaugh's the first time it went off, wasn't it? We went back to Peter Kavanaugh's pub in Liverpool with the amazing Rita who runs it. If anyone's listening, you get a chance, get down there for a drink, because she's just absolutely amazing. And when we filmed the first time, I'd gone back afterwards to interview Rita after we'd already filmed in the place, and during the filming with her and doing an interview to go with episode 1, she told a story about a little girl spirit in one of the bar areas, because Peter Kavanaugh's started off as a pub and then it knocked through into 2 houses next door over subsequent decades. So 2 parts of Peter Kavanaugh's are warehouses that were knocked through to extend the pub. And so more or less where this little girl spirit was seen would have been the living room. And it was one of her friends who's a spirit medium who said that's why her dog was barking. The spirit medium could see this little girl playing with a stick and a hoop, like a really old-fashioned toy. And the dog couldn't figure out why he couldn't get the stick off the little girl. And he said, that's why your dog, the dog's called Cava. That's why Cava was staring into the corner and barking. So we thought, right, okay, lock off camera, looking at that all night. We went off, did our own thing, down in the cellar, did whatever, put the REM pod on the table, and then we're chatting away about something else. And Adam's phone started playing up. It has like an app, a thing on it called Hey Google. And we didn't say anything like that, and it started going off. And then as we're talking about that, and so we figured out it must have been some interference, because it was on flight mode and nobody said Hey Google. And then the REM pod went off while we were there in the area, and the 2 of us were like, wow. And it's like we were like giggly school kids, because oh my god, this bit of kit's going off. But then after the first time it went off, we turned round and we said straight away, if this is the little girl spirit, thank you very much for doing that. Can you go a bit closer to the device? Which goes back to what you said, it's teaching them how to use it. And lo and behold, it went off again. And it was like, wow, that's brilliant. And then I think I turned around and said, if you go even closer and you can touch it, it'll light up. This was the only tragedy of the episode, is that it did light up, but the cameras didn't pick it up. They just didn't light up strong enough and for long enough for the night vision cameras to pick them up, but it did light up. And it was just, I think altogether 4 times, and it was strange. It's like, and I think Adam's sister Beth hit on it as well, and I said I watched Adam go into school teacher mode. It was really interesting that he changed from the banter merchant to this is a little girl spirit, and it was really interesting. And you kind of see it once you've watched enough episodes of how Adam works. Watching that little change of him was fantastic, and it was that, and I think that's what got more out of it, with a few more interactions with the REM pod. Adam straight away went in, that's fantastic, thank you for doing that, you're doing so well. And I thought that was brilliant. It was I got onto that straight away when I was doing the edit. It went from Adam the banter merchant to Adam the school teacher, who realised the instinct kicked in. If this is a little girl, I need to speak to this little girl in a way that relaxes her.
So that's another you complimented each other now.
I'll tell you what, I know it might be the best place to finish that, because I don't think I'm going to get another one like.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left anyway. Just for the listeners, I held up a piece of paper while Chris was talking, going 6 minutes left.
That piece of paper did say 26 minutes before, and it was still Chris talking.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously we're coming towards the end of the show now. I've got to ask both of you, you've done these fantastic shows. I love the Walton Hall one, because obviously we want support for that one, and the Halloween one, can't wait for that. Walton Hall again. Where other places would you love to go to that you've not been to yet, apart from Merseyside?
I think we're both in agreement that we would love to do Newsham Park Hospital.
Huge.
But obviously financially, unless I get home and find that my Euro Millions ticket actually did get in, it's we pride ourselves on having the guts to go into these places, just two of us, and Newsham Park is definitely one of those places where we would love to get into, but again, it's pie in the sky at the moment for us unless something dramatic happens. But yeah, if there was a dream one which we know we could do it justice, you give us 6 hours walking around there, splitting up with just the walkie-talkie, and
good luck.
And we'd love to do that because I think that would be a true test.
I've been there, and it is a phenomenal place to go around. It's huge. You don't realise how big it is. It's absolutely huge. I hope you get it. I'd love to see Haunted Scouse in Newsham.
You never know. I mean, we didn't think we'd have nearly 1,000 subscribers. And who knows, by the time this goes out, we might have the 1,000 subscribers. And it's we didn't think we'd have that. We every little benchmark, we've been so happy with it.
I created the first 10 emails to try and get us subscribers then as well. So I haven't created the other 1,000. So there is people out there who do watch.
We followed a group it's a group, 2 lads in Canada called Paranormal. If you go and watch them, they're really good. They started with, when we subscribed to them, they had 5 people, just 5 people. Now what are these? It's 17,000, 18,000 plus.
Yeah. Wow.
And they've got sponsors and everything, so I'm hoping you get the same.
Well, that's the plan. It'd be great for it to pay for itself.
Definitely.
That'd take a lot of pressure off. But you know what? As long as we keep enjoying it, and the viewers keep enjoying watching it as well, we'll do it for as long as they want us to be around. And as it goes back to what I said earlier on, if we've still got that first 50, then we'll keep doing it for them.
Well, M50 is more as important as the 50,000, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what we've always said. We keep our feet on the ground by saying we're making it for the first 50 every time. Brilliant. And we've got no aims, we've got no targets. But let's keep that first 50 happy, and
that's what we're like with the show. We're made up just for our listener. We got 2 listeners, haven't we, Linda and Marie?
No, I mean, for us, I know I speak for Chris as well, this has been brilliant, obviously meeting like-minded people and just sitting and just chatting about paranormal things, and obviously hopefully we can definitely get out and do something together and get you on the channel. But
100%. But do you know what, it's been an absolute honour having you in the studio. We've been looking forward to having you in. We've got you here, which was fantastic. Quickly, is it just YouTube you're on?
We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and we're even on LinkedIn.
And all you have to do is look for Haunted Scouse.
We're also on the Liverpool Echo website as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, get it back in there.
Right, it's now the end of the show, and I've got to say to Chris and Adam from Haunted Scouse, thank you for coming in tonight. We really do appreciate it. You've got to come in again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we will do. Cheers, Jamie. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks to both.
And for everybody else who's listening in, tune in next week. We'll see you then. Good night.